riot if you hadn't have re-signed the coach potentially from all the Tasmanian fans out there. Were you bracing for that if it didn't happen?
Oh no, I don't think there was ever any doubt. I mean, as everyone knows, Scott had another year to go, but for us it was important to make sure that we extended that. He's done such a great job, and he and his coaching staff with the playing group have done an amazing job of putting this team together and building the culture that we stand by. So to sit here now and very proud to say that we've extended Scott for at least 3 more years and an option for a 4th after that. I mean, we couldn't be in a better position, and I think that Scott said there's a lot of unfinished business. We've only done 1 year, and I think the important thing is what we do from here. It's continuous improvement, and we've got to look at ourselves as a club and make sure we continually improve, and Scott's part of that plan.
I watched back an interview from the start of the year the other day with you, and you said you'd love to reappoint the inaugural coach for many contracts, so that's a good start to that wish.
Yeah, look, I think it's important. I mean, if you're building something that we want longevity in, it's important to have good people, and we've said that from all aspects of the business, whether it be the front office, whether it be playing group, and it's about character and it's about good people, which has made us as strong as we have to date, and it's important to keep people for long term, and I think that's something that we've aimed to do. We've aimed to do that with our Australian players, and we're not in a position now where we're fighting to get new Australian content, because we took the decision early on to give good people longer term contracts to build this foundation, and I honestly sit here today and say this is just the first building block in it, and we'll get better and better.
What message does it send to the broader basketball world that you've been able to re-sign the coach, and the coach seems very happy to be here for the next 3 years?
I think it sends a number of messages. They keep your hands off, but in reality it sends a message that this is a club that actually respects those who've given their all, and that we're about that culture and that character, and we want to build that. And I've said it many times, it's about good people, and what we're doing is signing good people.
Away from the success, I guess, what is it about Scott that you want back in Tasmania?
Passion. I think we've all seen it. Scott's passion for the sport and passion for the JackJumpers is immeasurable. And what he does is, I don't know a lot about X's and O's and coaching. That's not my role, but I know he's a very good basketball coach, and I know the players love him and they respect him, and that's really important. I mean, you want players to want to come and play for a coach, and Scott touched on the exit interviews, and I was privy to exit interviews as well away from the coaches, and a number of them, nearly all players, said the one reason they were here is because of our coaching staff. And that's led by Scott. He's the leader. He'll continue to lead that ship, and we'll just get better and better in that area.
He's been very public about how hard it was for him early on in the season and how he was thinking about heading back home. How grateful are you for sticking it out?
Yeah, very grateful. Obviously, it's been a really tough time, and I think people forget the impact that COVID had on the world and that COVID had on everybody. And Scott not being able to see his wife and family for the best part of 18 months is really, really tough. I mean, you've heard him talk about his love for his family, and the reason he coaches is to provide for his family and give them the joy that he gets. It was a tough time, and Scott and I had a number of discussions about it, and thankfully we were able to work it out, and he's still here, and we had the great season that we did.
Free agency starts today. Do you have offer sheets in front of the 3 imports?
Look, we're working through that. Scott mentioned that. We'll work through with all the imports where we're at. Obviously, that we have a desire to keep this unit together the best we can. But we've also got to be realistic about it. As Scott said, they are free agents, and unfortunately, with great performance, drives the value of these players up. And in the market here in Australia, we can't compete with China and we can't compete with Europe in terms of dollars and cents. But what we can do is provide a great place to be. And I think that the thing that gave me a lot of solace talking to the players in the exit interviews is how much they love Tasmania and how much they love living here and how much they've enjoyed it with their families. And I think that sometimes there's a sacrifice around money to come back and actually have a really good life, and I think that's something we can sell, and we'll continue to do that.
So do they have something in front of them from the organisation at this stage?
Not as yet. No, we'll work through that in the next 24 hours, particularly as free agents just opened today. We're certainly in dialogue with management, and we'll move through that over the next 24, 48, 72 hours.
Did you have a chance to reflect on the season, mate, or was it still too soon for you as well?
No, not really. I mean, it's a funny thing. We've reflected upon it in small parts, but we've moved basically from a grand final series into our MVP preparations for tomorrow night, and obviously the signing today of Scott and extending his contract's really important. Then we move to the next step and we look for those 3 free agents and the import spots that we need to fill. So I'll get a little bit of time, hopefully in a couple of weeks, to sit back, and I won't be having a margarita in Florida, unfortunately, but I might be having a cold beer in Salamanca while I think about it.
Could you have imagined a better debut season?
We could have won it, but no. Look, in all seriousness, I think what's more important about what we've been able to do is build the foundations of this organisation, and the thing that gives the whole staff, whether it be the coaching staff, the front office staff, the board, are involved more joy rather than wins and losses is seeing how the fans have embraced us. I've been fortunate enough to had a chat with the Premier recently. He said he's never seen anything galvanise Tasmania like the JackJumpers have, and I think that's a testament to the hard work of everybody. We started basically with 2 people. Christine and I started in a kitchen in Brighton in Victoria before we came down here, and to build what we've been able to do and work with Larry and get the great people around us, I think that's more of an achievement than what we actually achieved on the court. And I think that what that does is sets us up for a long-term success. And look, I won't lie, we want to emulate the Perth Wildcats. We want to spend the next 35 years playing in playoffs.
Do you like to see a team in Canberra?
I'd love to see a team in Canberra. I think Canberra have a long history of NBL basketball, successful NBL basketball, and I think, you know, if you reflect upon what we've been able to do here in this market, it's a very similar market, so I'd certainly encourage the NBL to look at expanding into Canberra.